In the evolving landscape of clinical research, it is imperative to stay updated with the latest regulatory changes. One such regulation that has drawn global attention is the EU Clinical Trials Regulation, EU CTR, 536/2014. This regulation is paramount for those involved in clinical research as it sets the standards for conducting clinical trials across European Union countries.
Welcome to the GCP-Mindset channel and all topics on clinical research.
The EU Clinical Trials Regulation is a legal framework established by the European Union in 2014 to regulate clinical trials on medicinal products for human use. This regulation was introduced to replace the previous directive, 2001/20/EC, with an aim to harmonize the rules across EU member states and ensure a high level of safety for participants in clinical trials. What are the key provisions of the EU Clinical Trials Regulation? The regulation encompasses several key provisions. Firstly, it simplifies the process for conducting multinational clinical trials, allowing for a single application across all member states. Additionally, it sets out specific rules on informed consent and protection of vulnerable populations. Another crucial aspect is the requirement of a public register of all clinical trials conducted in the EU. This enhances transparency by ensuring that results, whether positive or negative, are publicly available. The regulation also introduces stricter rules on safety reporting and monitoring to protect trial participants. What is the purpose of the Clinical Trials Regulation? The Clinical Trials Regulation was introduced with two primary aims. First, to streamline and simplify the process for approving and conducting clinical trials across multiple EU member states. Second, to enhance the transparency and safety of clinical trials. By having a unified set of rules for all member states, the regulation reduces administrative burdens and speeds up the process of getting new treatments to patients. The increased transparency helps build public trust in clinical research and ensures that researchers and healthcare professionals can learn from every trial conducted. What is the impact of clinical trials regulation on clinical research? Since its implementation, the Clinical Trials Regulation has significantly impacted clinical research. The streamlined process has led to an increase in multinational trials, allowing for larger and more diverse patient populations. The increased transparency has also led to better data sharing and collaboration among researchers. For example, a recent study published in the European Journal of Clinical Pharmacology found that the number of multinational trials had increased by 25% since the implementation of clinical trials regulation. Let us now take a look at the compliance with clinical trials regulation. Non-compliance with the Clinical Trials Regulation can lead to severe penalties, including fines and suspension of clinical trials. Therefore, it is essential for researchers and institutions to understand and comply with the regulation. To ensure compliance, organizations should conduct regular audits, provide training to staff, and establish processes for safety reporting and data management. It is also crucial to stay updated with any changes or updates to the regulation. Let us talk about the future of clinical trials under the Clinical Trials Regulation. The future of clinical trials under the Clinical Trials Regulation looks promising. The streamlined process and increased transparency have the potential to drive innovation and improve patient outcomes. However, as with any regulation, updates and improvements may be necessary as new challenges arise in the field of clinical research. One potential area for change could be the use of real-world data and digital technology in clinical trials, which is currently not explicitly addressed in the regulation. In conclusion, the Clinical Trials Regulation plays a crucial role in shaping clinical research in Europe. By streamlining processes, enhancing transparency, and ensuring participant safety, it promotes efficient and ethical clinical research. Understanding this regulation is not just essential for compliance, but also for driving innovation and improving patient outcomes. Thank you for watching our video, and we hope that you found it informative. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more content on clinical research.